These knots and the principles I'm about to show you will serve you 99% of the time, whether you're out camping, hiking, or surviving, coming up on Survival Schoolhouse. The principles that we want to think about for our line, as far as it being utilized, is minimal loss of the tensile strength of the cordage we're using itself. Also, that the knot is easy to tie and untie. Incorporating quick releases, quick to tie makes things pretty efficient. And if it's frozen outside, if it's the middle of winter, they're easy to untie as well. So we want to incorporate all of those in our survival knots. A good rule of thumb to have with your cordage: 5 5-foot pieces, 550 cord that we have here, 5 10-foot pieces. That will suffice for a lot of what we need building our shelters coming up. So something else you want to take care of is burning the ends. You want to cut this off so you don't have to burn as much material. Grab that, and you have a nice end to work with right there. Burn this up. Now when you burn the ends, you want to make sure that you don't touch the ends for safety, because if I touch that right there, it's going to melt right to my finger. Then once it's still hot, roll it over on a smooth surface, and then make the end nice and pointy, so when I untie my slip knot and other knots that I have on there, that it slides right out. Now some of the nomenclature of the line that we're going to be using: we have the running end that we have right here, that's going to be moving around. We have the body, and then the standing end. We'll also be using the terminology of a bight, a B-I-G-H-T, just a U-shaped bend in the line. We'll use that to move around and tie our different knots that we're going to be using as well. Now the first knot that we're going to tie is the square knot, and what you want to remember is left over the right, right over left. So you put your left over the right, the one you put over the top, twist around. Right over the left, the one you put over the top, twist around, and then it makes 2 bites in the line right there. You know it's correct. Say it's real tight, you want to take it apart. The 2 ends that are facing the same direction, pull them. It's going to pop over, then you can slide that right out. So let's tie it again. Left over right, right over left, and then back on through. You know it's incorrect if it goes the wrong direction around and the lines are facing the wrong direction, and it'll want to slip out, and if it doesn't, it'll make it extremely difficult to untie. A knot that is real handy is the slip knot, and it's a start to the bowline when we're going to tie the snap bowline. So make a bird beak, wrap a turn around, leaving about 6 inches of line past it. Then reach down through and just grab your body. Grab that down, then you have your slip knot right there. Let's tie it one more time. About 6 inches or so past, bird beak, wrap it around, reach down, grab the body. There's your slip knot, easy to untie. Now you can use your slip knot right here. Once your slip knot is tied, you have this, somewhere, this is going to be about the size of your loop of your bowline. And it's the length of whatever you determine it to be. So what you want to do is you have your slip knot, put this through, and then make a bite back on the slip knot loop that you made. So you can see the bite right here. You can see our bite. Then I'm going to pull the body, and because our slip knot is loose, it pulls and then snaps over and then makes a bowline. So you can see both sides. Easy to untie with the bowline, say if that's real tight. We press up on the back side on that bite around the line. That loosens everything up, easy to untie. So let's start with our slip knot, bird beak, down, body, pull it up. We have our slip knot which is loose. This is going to be our loop, our finished loop right here. Bring this back on itself to make a bite. Show you both ways. It's a butt. And then you want to pinch this bite real tight. And then you're going to pull the body so it pops over, makes our bowline our fixed loop. The reason that we don't want to tie just a simple overhand loop, just an overhand knot in the line, is it's real difficult to untie. So bowline, minimal loss of our tensile strength, and then real easy to untie when it's frozen. Let's represent tying up a sleeping bag or a shelter, or just some other fixed object, and make it tighter. So you can crank down on this, make it tighter. Then you're going to pinch towards the back end. All I'm going to do is make a bite right here, just like so. Come around and pull it back towards where I'm pinching. That right there is a trucker's hitch. So let's do it one more time. Let's tighten something up, pinch it so it doesn't loosen up. A lot of people want to pinch up here, but that gets in the way of tightening this up later. So pinch the back side, make your bite just a few inches down, bring it back and around, and then through. Just like so. And it's basically a half hitch that's not pulled all the way through. We can make a half hitch around this loop as a safety. All you do is you just make an underhand turn, put it around your loop right here, pull it tight. That makes a secure loop to tie off to. So if we want to make that one more time, make an underhand turn, like so, grab your loop, pull it through, and you have this nice and secure. A little trick that you can do is you don't need to pull your half hitch or your safety all the way through. You can just leave this loose right here. It still keeps this secure. It's still a safety, but I didn't pull it all the way through. It makes it that much quicker to untie. When you have a piece of material like this, you can use a girth hitch. That's just where you make a bite in the line. Then your bite just goes through your grommet. You have your loop, pull both of your lines through, which makes our girth hitch. Real sturdy, real easy to untie. So let's tie it one more time. Make your bite. You don't need to make the tail end of your bite too long, just long enough to where it's easy to pull through. Pull your line all the way through, then you have your girth hitch. Then say you want to tie off to the corner for a shelter. An easy knot to tie is your clove hitch. Clove hitch goes around the tree, and you want to remember to make an X. So here's our X. There's our X right here. We come around again. We want to pinch that X. So that X, that's going to hold our knot from coming unsecure. We're going to loosen up the end that just came around, and then I'm going to pull the body of our line through. And most of the time, I don't even pull this all the way through. So snow clove is what it's called. Then it's real easy to untie. So it's a friction knot. This works best when there's a bunch of bark. If this is a smooth tree, you want to wrap it around one or two more times. So pull it nice and tight, wrap it around, make an X, come around again. As you make that X, you want to pinch it so it doesn't loosen up. And the back side is going to loosen up that you just pulled around, and then pull your body through. And you don't have to pull it all the way through. It just makes a snow clove. Line's all dressed up out of the way, so we don't trip on it or pull our knot out as we're walking around in the middle of the night. Take it apart. So we have our loop. Pull it out. Real fast to untie and go. Now, to keep our lines from getting all tangled up, we want to put them in a daisy chain. And a daisy chain starts with putting all your lines somewhat even towards the end that we have right here, making sure that they're untangled. Start with the slip knot wrap around, grab it, pull the body through. So we have our slip knot right here. We have the tail end. Now we're going to step on that just to secure it, make it easier. And so you have this slip knot that moves back and forth. So we have our slip knot, so you're going to reach through and then grab and pull the body through. Reach through, grab the body. Reach through, grab the body. And you just keep doing that back and forth. Now you don't want to make this loop too big right here. Don't make it too big. Keep dressing it up. Make it just a small enough loop. This doesn't have to be pulled tight. This is just a way to store the line. So I'm just reaching through each time, grabbing it, and then when I get to the end, I'm going to pull all my lines all the way through. Now to take it apart, you need to take it apart from the end that you ended on. And then it simply comes all the way apart. So again, start with your slip knot. We have our end right here. Slip knot moves back and forth. So you need to dress it up as you're going. Reach through, grab the body. Reach through, grab it. Don't pull it all the way through. Only one side tightens this part up. It doesn't have to be real tight. Reach through. Eventually, this will become real quick, will become second nature. As you're making your daisy chain, keeps it nice and stored in your pack, ready to go, so it doesn't turn into a rat's nest inside your pack. So let's put all this into practice. Let's make a little shelter. This right here is just representative item. This could be a tarp you buy from the store, could be a piece of plastic. This is just a pretty heavy-duty poncho that we have right here. We have a couple trees that are just over arm's distance apart. If they're too far apart, you're using a bunch of your line that you could be saving for other things. Looking around, I'm not seeing anything, any other hazards in the area. So we have our shelter kit. We have our lines. We have everything ready to go. Always hold on to it. Don't set it on the ground. Take apart your daisy chain. Hang it up in a tree. Off the tree that you're using. So then it's prepped up, ready to go, and you're not losing it. Remember, take your daisy chain out from the end that you finished on. Then you have two different spots. We have our short lines and our long lines hanging up right here. Eye level, easy to see. Don't lay them on the ground because they're easy to lose. Tie up our poncho. What do you think we're going to be using for these openings? Girth hitch. Very good. Just start out with your long lines. Start in the middle of your poncho. We have our girth hitch. Then tie up right here. It's a good idea. I like to tie a trucker's hitch. Girth hitch on the other side. Come around, pulling it nice and tight. And then, once we come back around, see we're making our bite back on itself. So now we're out to tying the corners off for our poncho. Tie it off with a girth hitch. Pull it out. See where it looks the best. Right about here. Grab a stick, a big sturdy beater stick. Start pounding your stake into the ground. We have our stake right here. When you start pounding, have your palm up. So if you miss, it goes off into the meaty part of your palm and not the back side or the top part of your wrist. Make sure you have leather gloves on as well. Then tie it off. with the clove hitch. Now what you can do is tie off the big sturdy logs. The bigger the better. Now if you don't have grommets, you can always make a button right there. Make your slip knot. Find some soft material, right around golf ball size. Put it in your corner, pull your slip knot tight. There's your button. One way to secure off plastic and other things when you don't have a grommet. Something else I can do is grab a lawn line, tie a slip knot, tie your hood up so it's nice and secure, fold it over so no rain gets inside your hood. Pull it nice and tight, tie it off to a tree next to you. These are the knots I use 99% of the time, whether I'm tying up a shelter or just out camping, tying up a tarp, maybe as a shade covering overhead. Just easy to tie, easy to untie, minimal loss of tensile strength. Thanks for watching.